So there's a lot about the Las Vegas Raiders to not be happy with right now after last week's game with the Los Angeles Chargers, a game that we absolutely should have won. We outplayed them and outclassed them in every regard except for one, and that was turnovers and mistakes. The Chargers didn't beat the Raiders beat themselves. And without those big mistakes, the Raiders did really well. And I want to point on one big silver lining that a lot of people are overlooking, and that is the signing of Christian Wilkins, a guy who I was advocating the Raiders go out and sign. A lot of people called me delusional and said that the Miami Dolphins would never let him walk into free agency. And as I described, they were $100 million over cap. There was no way that they could sign him to a massive deal, which he was very deserving of, and he would go to free agency. Despite all of the doubters, he did go to free agency just as I said he would, and the Raiders went out and got him just as I said they should. Does this make me a genius? No. Does this mean that I'm more important than anybody else? No. It just means that I got that one right. And now I've got it right again because he proved that he is worth the money. He proved that us going out and getting him is a good decision for the Raiders. Now, if you go back and look at the Chargers game, his first game as a Raider regular season, he didn't get a sack. But Justin Herbert also only got sacked once, and that was by Max Crosby. But he was a big part of Max Crosby getting that sack. Here's the reason why. Christian Wilkins takes on double teams. Christian Wilkins gets past double teams. In fact, he was lined up against Joe Alt quite often in that game, and Joe Alt, for all of his praise, and actually he played really good against Max Crosby, he did not play good against Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins threw him around like a rag doll and put a ton of pressure on Justin Herbert, and he was pivotal in restricting the Chargers from being able to get a run game up and going. Now, we know that the Chargers did put a lot of yards up as far as the run game goes, but this was off of a handful of big plays where Christian Wilkins absolutely did his job and Divine Diablo did not do his job. The linebackers didn't do their job and prevent by filling in the gaps properly. Christian Wilkins was blowing up run play after run play after run play. They even tried running the other way away from him, and he was still getting to the running back and blowing up the run game. Fantastic video breakdown by Sanjeet. If you guys want to check that out and actually see those plays in the breakdowns, go check out Sanjeet's video breakdown on Christian Wilkins. Did a great job on that. And I just want to say that twofold. By having Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby is going to have the best year of his life because Christian is now going to be the guy taking those double teams because he is so dominant. He is more dominant than Malcolm Kuntz, and rightly so. He's going to be lined up closer to the quarterback, so you have to double team him because he's an interior lineman. And Max Crosby is on the outside, so he has a longer distance to get to the quarterback. So now Max Crosby is going to be the guy who's getting those single teams, mostly going to be up against tight ends, and this is going to allow Max to really feast this year, that in past times they would just double team him and try and shut him down. He would still get his, but it was a lot harder. This year it's going to be a lot easier because Christian Wilkins is going to eat up those double teams. Number 2 point of why Christian Wilkins is going to be such a valuable asset to the Raiders is because he's so good and because Max Crosby is so good. These guys are on long-term contracts with the Raiders, and they're young, which means they're just going to grow together and become a dominant duo in the NFL. Now, losing Malcolm Kuntz, possibly for the year, really sucked, and I hate to see that. But the good thing is we have a little bit of depth there. And I think that Adam Butler is going to do a great job. John Jenkins is going to do a great job. Yes, we're still slim on defensive end on the other side. I think that the Raiders will still be okay because at the end of the day, our front guys, the defensive tackles, are really, really good. And then you got Max on the one side. That's more than enough for any team to be successful. Malcolm Kuntz was just the icing on the cake that was already made. And so now losing him, it hurts, but it's not going to kill that defensive line because they will still continue to be dominant just as they were in this game without Malcolm. Would they have been more dominant with Malcolm? Yes, I believe they would have, but only by a little bit. So the stars aren't falling. The sky isn't falling. There is still hope. I think the Raiders need to go out and seriously try and figure out a way to get a franchise quarterback in this system before it's too late. We do have superstars on the team, but they won't be superstars forever. Now is the time to win, and I don't think Gardner Minshew is the guy. If you disagree, drop a comment. If you agree, drop a comment. But if you love what you're seeing from Christian Wilkins, drop a comment down there, Big CW, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, all of that good stuff.